Hi everyone, it's Rosemary Maris from Maris Art. I'm just going to show you how I've decorated the pages in the first signature of my Gypsy BOHO journal. If you're not really interested in how I did it, I will be doing a flip through of the whole book when it's finished. But I thought I'd go through in detail of how I did it. So first of all, it's massive. So I originally planned to have 3 signatures in my book, but maybe because it's getting so fat, it does actually squash down a bit because there's lots of fabrics and things in it, that I might end up just doing 2. So I thought I'd show you the little charms. First of all, what I did was I bought some tapestry fabric and I've cut out little tabs, and they're actually glued on to each side of the page like that. A little tip, I've used Fabri-Tac glue on these and it sets pretty quick. So I found that once it had set, it was really hard to get these little pins through. So maybe try and pin them through while it's still wet, so you don't end up jabbing your fingers. So there's a little teacup there for reading tea leaves, and then a little black crystal. Here there's a little bead, and here there's a little bottle, and this cute little wagon, caravan, and there's the horse that pulls the caravan. What I've done for each section, I've actually divided all the photos up into 3, divided all the laces up into 3, divided the charms into 3, so that I don't put everything in the first thing and have nothing left. So this is that beautiful embossed paper, which is going to be the first thing you see when you open the journal. And then inside we've got this lovely lady. These flowers were a head of geraniums, I think they were, and I took them all apart and just layered them and I've held it to the photo with a brad before I've actually put the photo down. And I cut this little lace thing out with this thing, and I thought it went quite well with the little things in her hair. This page is beautiful paper from India. This is a, it's hard to pick up when it's not sewn together. This is a beautiful thing I cut out of some lace and glued that on with Fabri-Tac again. And the little flower, I actually put the brad in before I glued this down, so it's not sticking through the page on the other side. And then there's this beautiful, beautiful lace, again using Fabri-Tac, and I've made it go a little bit over the edge of the paper like that, so I like it sticking out. So this page is actually a pocket. This tag I made, and it's really thick, so I glued it, I've sewn round the photograph or the printing or whatever you want to call it, with red, and I've sewn round lots of things in this book just to challenge myself to do a bit of sewing. So what I did first of all is you go round with one way and you just do curves up and down very gently, and then the next time you go around, where it goes up you go down, and where it goes down you go up, and it gives this nice sort of you can see it, the nice texture to it. There's a little bit of decoration there as well. As I was saying, this pocket, I put because this thing is so thick, because it's got things in the back, I put it down on the paper and then glued the pocket down so that it would actually fit in. So it sits up quite a long way there. The stitching actually reinforces it. This here was a piece of napkin, so all I did was cut the piece of napkin, put what's it called, that glue, Mod Podge down, and then put the napkin on it and then went over it with Mod Podge. And this is antique music paper that I sprayed with the homemade sprays that I told you how to do in another video, that you can make them up with icing, cake icing colours. So this is the serviette, no, doily, that I used to spray through on some of the pages, and it was rather pretty pink. So what I've done with this cutout here, which I showed you on another video as well, I've backed it with a silver one, because when it was on the pink it just disappeared. And it's got this beautiful, beautiful ribbon down, which I've sewn on, but on this side you can hardly see the stitching because it is red. So some of them I've covered up because I'm really fussy. I don't want random stitching throughout the book. Then this is a bit of two types of different lace or netting or whatever. So that one's silvery, glittery. This one is an antique one, and then it's got a little bit of that eyelash trim, and then I cut out this from a piece of lace. So here, I love the way I went down here with a punch, and I love the way that the fabric underneath is showing them up. So I put a couple of butterflies because this looked a bit plain. These pages I'm going to write on or draw on. And then again, this is a napkin. So you put Mod Podge down, you put the napkin down. If you want to like just cut out a part of a napkin, what I did was a little way away from the image I wanted, about here, I went around it with a wet paintbrush, and then you can just pull it away and you're left with the image that you want and not the whole sort of napkin. So don't try and tear it because you can't, but once you've wet it and you just slide it away like that, it comes away really, really easily. So this page again, I've put the butterflies in the middle, put some little corner stamps on, and this is some silk that I had that I've I just folded it under as I was stitching it on the machine. One little tip is, see how the folds are going upwards? It's easier to put them under the machine going downwards, because what you do is you tend to push it like that, which I found after the first couple of ones, and then of course I started it, so I didn't want to unpick it because it would rip the paper. So just be aware of that. Oh, I've got to put something up here because there's a little staple there from what's on the other side, and that's what's on the other side. So this is some washi tape because I didn't want the stitching showing through on this side of the page from that, so I put washi tape on it, and then I made this little couple of bits of, well, it's one bit folded in half of some lace that I cut off something else, and a little bit of that trim that was over, and a tiny bit of lace with a rose on it, which looks quite pretty. Then I just did the corner stamps on this side because I thought that was really nice to write on. This is actually the tapestry material that I made these little tabs out of. And what I did was, you're allowed to buy that, however small the piece was, I was allowed to buy the smallest piece. And then what I did was I went to where the colours were, because I didn't want really black, and cut the tabs out from there. So just to ground it in with the theme of the book, I put this beautiful, the red embossed paper that's going to be the middle signature cover. And then I found this lovely angel wing, which has got like glitter things on it. So I've pinned it on, but also down here I've glued it with Fabri-Tac just to stop it swinging around in the book. On this side I've got another beautiful, beautiful ribbon. Can you see it's up here? It's like flashing. It's gorgeous ribbon. And then I found this paper that sort of looked like the ribbon and backed her with that. This mignon if you look online and download their photos, this Mignon, I presume it was a vintage place that took photos, their images are gorgeous. And then on this side, some of the images, when I do the images, I download them from the internet, and then I put them in a Word document so that I can size them. So some of them are this size, some of them are smaller to fit on tags, and then there's ones like this which are full size on the paper. And then I take it to a printer's on a stick and get them printed. So the ones that I wanted to use, the smaller ones, I've actually used a shape on my machine, on my Sizzix cutter, and cut some of them out. And then it's backed with some of that beautiful paper. When I looked at this page, I thought this big white area here was a bit too white for me, so I've put a stamp there. This is Stays On Black ink. Over here we've got a pocket, and on it this is cut out from 12 by 12 paper, and then it's got these little leaves that are ghost leaves. I think they might be fabric, I'm not sure. And then I'd put the 3 butterflies there to match the butterfly here. That's fussy cut out. And there's that. I think this is one of those Mignon photos again, but it's not got the stamp down here. They're beautiful. And you can see these little lovely little ghost leaves that I thought went really well with it. And over the page, I've got another pocket here. This is some silk. Why I've got all these laces and antique things and materials is because I used to make porcelain dolls, original sculpted dolls that were dressed in all these amazing clothes, and I used to sell them in America. I live in Australia, and that was my business. I used to teach people how to do it. So I've got all this fabulous stuff left over, so that's why I've got amazing things. So what I did was I just printed the little words, had them printed off on, oh, where's the other one? There's 3. Had them printed off on cream card, and then ripped them around and went round them with this that we all love, the distressing ink, to make them look antique. I wasn't too sure whether I actually liked this lace here being stapled on. So what I might do, if I'm still not liking it, I'll take that out and stitch it all the way around the tag so that it's stitched on. But we will see. Then there's a beautiful postal flowery thing there that I've stamped. So this has these beautiful eyelash trims that someone sent me, and these pretty little flowers here. And then this is another one that I've cut out that shape on my machine because I put her as a small size in my document. And then it's got lace at the back of it. Then this here is where I've actually cut out another photo, which I'll use later on in the book. But I thought, oh, that makes a nice frame. So I've used it as a frame. And that's washi tape. Then in the back, we've got a little flower trim here, which is sort of embroidered. Then the butterflies, and then there's 3 little tabs echoing the butterfly theme there. You can write on the back of them. And I rather like these 2 crowns. You know, you need to be queen of the gypsies. And that's on some flashy paper. And then on the back, because this was a different card to this one, I put music paper, and then this is handmade paper that I just tore and went around with the distress ink. And then this was an experiment of one of my embossing folders that I had lying around. So I just cut it out, and then I just went like that and rubbed the distress ink pad gently over the top, and it showed up the embossing quite nicely. So I'll just leave those here and come back to them. This trim here, if you can see it, is throughout the book because I wanted something hanging off the end. Because this book is so big, what I like to do with my other books is stand them up on end and display them. But this one is going to be so big, it's going to be like a coffee table book. It's going to lie down, so I don't have to worry about wrecking this fringing. This is some tracing paper that I've stamped on with beautiful stamps. These actually came from England, these stamps. So can't remember what the name of the shop was, but there you go. And then this is an antique trim that I had in my stash. I used to make fairies and genies and medieval ladies and all sorts of things in the dolls, so that's why I've got all these gorgeous things left lying around. And I actually didn't like the way this came out. What I did was I got the wet doily and put it down on the page, thinking it would leave a nice doily shape, and of course it hadn't. It left a mess, so I covered it with that. Then this girl, what I've done with her is sewn around before I glued the photo down, then backed it with this beautiful silk, which is also what's in that pleated thing that you saw. Bit of ribbon that I had left over. Any little leftover bits like that, I actually just put them on my desk over there in a pile, so that when I'm doing these little attachment things, I've got them there, and I just go, oh, that goes with this and that goes with that. So this is on one of the 12 by 12 papers. This is another beautiful fabric that actually glows and glistens. It's got leaves embroidered all over it, which, as you can see, I've done the pleats the other way down, so it was a lot easier to do. So you can see it's got two lots of stitching. It's got the one where I put the pleats in, and then it's got another one where I attached it to the page. But over this side, this covers up the stitching because I didn't want it to. This covers up the stitching. And then at the top here, that's a brooch. It's just pinned on to the fabric, and it's a brooch. This is why it's so fat. And then we've got another one of those little, so this is an antique sequin thing, and then this is one of the things that I cut out on my machine, that I was going to do them with alcohol inks, and then I looked at it and I went, oh, maybe I could just, because this was the first one I picked up, and because it was bright silver, and I thought, oh, maybe if I just rub it with the black stays on, then it would just antique it a bit. So I picked up the stays on and rubbed it, and then went, oh, that looks sort of, I don't know whether you can see it, it looks sort of pinky coloured. And then I looked at the stays on, and I picked this one up, timber brown, and that's what I'd done it with. I just went like that over the butterfly, and it came out this beautiful colour. So I'm not going to alcohol ink them at all. I'm going to do them like this. And this was from a little page of ephemera that was from Graphic 45. Bit of the silk, bit of lace. Oops. Then this next page is actually the back of the 12 by 12 that I folded around. So there it is there. And this is going to be a pocket, but because this is not sewn together, I haven't glued the pocket down because it may move when I actually sew it together. So when I've sewn it all together and put the signature in the cover, then I'll glue this pocket down. So in it, there'll be this little book and probably a couple of tags in it as well, which I haven't done at the moment. With this beauty, again, I think it's one of those mignon things. Oh, I'll have to get that off. She's got a bit of glue going down there. A little thing that I do is to get that off if you just rub it like this, it won't come off. But I found if I just touch the cloth with a bit of spit, gone. And it actually doesn't wreck the photo. I always think I've got viper spit, get rid of anything. And then this was some extra paper that I just sprayed, and see, some of it was smaller than the other, but it didn't really matter. I just put it in, sewn it in with a bit of red string. So that's a nice little, look at that paper. Whoa, see it glow. Woo! See, I love bling. This is the grandest opportunity I've had to actually use bling in a book. If you've seen my my videos of my Egyptian books, you want to see bling, woohoo. So this is a page out of a gardening book that I think it was on flower arranging, which I thought went quite well. So it's attached to another page, and what I did was I glued washi tape on both sides. So I went round with the washi tape and overlapped it so it's not going to peel off, just to make it stronger for the stitching. But I thought it went quite nicely with the book. It goes quite nicely with that. Oh, there's another one of those cutouts done with the brown. Yeah, how clever it is. Just a mistake that was. Got another bit of the braiding at the bottom. And then I wanted some cutouts, and I didn't have very many romantic papers to cut things out of, because I'm very much into steampunk. And I went into a shop and found these little cutout things like that, and of course they look very blur to me with all this white around, and I'm not going to go and try and cut out this tiny little leaf. So what I did again was went round them with the distress ink and just did it over with that, and then it gets that nice antique-y look that these have got. And and what you do then is you see this part of the image, not the white around it. This was part of the cushion that I had. So this is the centre fold, so this is not going to be a pocket. Again, I've sewn around it and I've left the little strings hanging. A little tip for sewing around it. See, this red one here, that was sewing it with the paper this way up in the machine, and then the other one is sewing it with the paper that way in the machine. And why I did it was because I wanted to measure where this was going to fit, so the stitching was underneath. So what you can do if you don't like this, which I've got to do on this, but I've only just discovered it. If you don't like this white, see the white holes in it? Then what you do is you just get your antiquing thing, gone. Right? Makes it look so much better. Doesn't show up that. You see the difference between that and that? To me, this is much better. Doesn't show it up. So I should be going round with that to fix that up. As I say, this was part of the cushion. Then this is a piece of, don't know what you call it. It's got sort of a velvety roses on it, and I just used it to back her with. As I say, this is the centre of the signature. There's a painting, and then this painting, I thought this went with it quite well. It's washi tape that I got from Japan, and it has horses all over it, which I thought went quite well with the caravan-y picture. And that picture and these go really well with the background paper. Then we've got another beautiful lady, and this lace here is just, it's glued on there with Fabri-Tac, and this is hanging, and I thought it went quite well with her earrings. And then up the top there's another thing that I cut out. You can see I need to go over this all around here to get rid of that white look. This is another one from that, cut out from that machine, and it's made a tuck spot, but because it's a heavy thing that goes in there, then I found these lovely, I love them, these paper clips in a place in Australia called Officeworks. And this again is done with the brown, let's show you, the brown stays on ink. So this is a little booklet that this is just frayed fabric. It's got a knot in it and it comes out like that and goes around the back. This is a piece of the embroidery off the cushion, and then inside it has this beautiful cutout from a lace. And then I quite like this. They look as if they're in behind some secret thing. So again, that's sewn around the edge and then glued it to this. This is silk. All the fabrics in here is silk. And it's just a nice way to use that lace. So to close it, you just go around that way, you put the little knot under there and pop it in. And I'll put this in. I leave this one in because they do tend to fall out because they're so heavy and I don't want it falling through the book. And there's that. See, so this one upside down as well. Like, don't learn from the first one, Rosemary. Just do the second one upside down. Make it difficult for yourself. And then the stitching at the back, I've covered up with this beautiful lace. There's another picture from that sort of gardening book thing. There is material enough in a single flower for the ornament of a score of cathedrals. It's by John Ruskin. I love this stamp. I think it's gorgeous. Then this page, again, I went into the doily and did a stays on stamp. And this is beautiful, beautiful embroidered antique ribbon. I don't know whether it's ribbon or fabric actually, because it's like frayed on the edges of it. And this again is the 12 by 12 paper. So the other side of it is that pocket. Beautiful lady there. She looks sort of gypsy-ish. In this one, I've got some corner things that I saw a lady doing on YouTube, and I thought, oh, I like that. It's actually the one that I use. Where's it gone? For this. So what it does, it cuts around there, but it doesn't cut here. It embosses here. So I cut it so that I put it so that I can cut it off and glue that there. But on this, it embosses. It just cuts the corner shape and the shape's out of it, but it embosses around here. So what I did was I cut with a blade, not scissors. I cut these curves that are embossed on it and just put this in, but I've glued it as well. Some beautiful antique lace down the bottom, the decoration. And these little roses that I found somewhere. Then here, underneath this, if I can get it in for you, underneath this is a little wheel. Now a couple of the pictures that I enlarged on my document, I couldn't see that they were actually pixelated. So when I had them printed, they were pixelated, and I thought, I don't want to use all that because they were all blurred. So I thought, oh, I'm not going to waste it. So this is part of the woman's dress that she was wearing, that I cut that out of and used it underneath the flower. So I've got all these little shapes of bits that I positioned on the photo to use the background of it, which I thought was quite clever, really. I'm such a clever cookie. And then the back of it's got a little flower on a piece of music paper, because this again is going to be another pocket. It's the other side of this 12 by 12 paper, which is going to be glued down when I've sewn the thing in place. This is just to keep that in there. So these images are just stunning. So I did it on cream card. The ones that I've done on card that I'm going to write on, I've just put these butterflies on the back of all of them. And then this is antique music paper that I've glued onto the card, and then I've put her on top of it. Antiqued it all, antiqued it all. They're all the photos in this book. Usually I go around with the brown, but these I've actually gone around with this. And it's black. I just wanted them all to be the same, but not necessarily antiqued, especially the coloured ones. I wanted it black. It makes them stand out a little bit more. Don't know whether you can actually see the difference. It's just got a little black edge on it. I don't like the white edge on things. And this is beautiful rose trim. This, again, is why the book is so fat. Then this layer, some of that pleated fabric, I cut out a little leaf from it, this little embroidered leaf. Like I said, it sort of sparkles. And then it's layered with a piece of black lace first, and then this other lace at the top, a little rose stuck on the leaf, and a little loop of some antique sequins on it. I love making these little sort of, I don't know what you'd call them. And there's another page that's been stamped, which is the tissue paper. You can see through it. Then here, what I did was I cut this out again from one of my shapes. Kept the outside of it for a frame as well. Put on a bit of red paper, put it on black card, and then just glued it down to here so it actually makes a nice little tuck spot. And it's got that beautiful thing and the butterflies on the back. So it's just I was going to stick this on straight and just have it, you know, straight, and then I thought, oh no, let's do something different. So down here there's a little beautiful, the meaning of beautiful, little dictionary meaning, which was on one of the 12 by 12 papers. See, this slides around. Again, I did that. Then this one, because when I want to open and close the book, I didn't want this going like that and then closing on it and creasing it. So what I did was, very sneaky, I tried sewing the magnet on first of all. It's got a little magnet there and it's got a magnet here. And it wouldn't, I couldn't sew it on because, of course, it kept sticking to the needle because it's a magnet. So that really annoyed me. So what I did was I cut a tiny bit of the netting of the lace and wrapped it around a few times and glued it, and then sewed that on so I wasn't touching the magnet. And then what I did was I stuck the magnet to the back of the butterfly and then put the butterfly onto here, so it's on there because I wanted this to sit really taut. And then when the butterfly was stuck on here, so it was stuck on here like that with the magnet here, then I glued it, and oh, it's upside down. And then I glued it, so you have to put it on upside down like that. And then I glued it and stuck it down onto the page like that with the fabric where I wanted it. Another one of those little cutouts. And then this, I had this this frame from somewhere, don't know where I got it, and I thought she went really beautifully in it. It was quite a big photo, like this, and I cut it down to fit. This flower here is another one of those that I've gone around with the inks. But why it's there is because, I don't know if you can see, there's a big stitch there. There were some big stitches here from what's on the other side, and that covers it up quite nicely. So on the other side is this amazing, beautiful, beautiful beaded antique rose, I suppose it is. So it's got little pearls sewn on it. It's got little metal beads sewn on it. And then these here are all, you can see them, they're a very strange, oh, there you can see that one better, a very strange sort of colour of sequins that go really well with it. And then this is all sequins upon edge there, and then this is all what would have been originally gold thread. I've just made embroidered a beautiful dragonfly with actual gold 18 karat gold thread, which this would have been in the first place, but what it does over time, it goes dull, especially if you get your finger on it. The acids in your finger changes it. So I sewed it with gloves on. So I didn't touch it. So here's another one of those frills down the side, the pleated frills. You can see this silk fabric has got these little like glittery bits on it. This was a costume that I did a series of genies when I was doing the dolls. This was what their costume was made out of. So it's a nice little memory for me to have in there. Then there's some more cutouts of butterflies. And this page, these are some just some stickers that I had that are like 3D stickers. And this is a little bit of napkin glued on with Mod Podge. Then I Mod Podged this netting, silver netting, and then the little dragonfly goes over the top. And then this one here, again, it's got a little bit of napkin underneath it, the netting, and then this is one of those wooden embellishments that you can buy. And I thought I was going to paint it, and then I went, I can't be bothered, I'm too lazy to get the paints out and wait for it to dry. So I did it with a Copic pen, which looks like this, it's called Cardinal Red. It looks a bit brown on the top, but I just did it with that. And it came out beautiful. I tried the other one, which is this colour, which is prawn, but that one was too orange. So if you've never seen these pens, this end has got a big end, and this, oh geez, this end has got a point on it. But the thing is, when you're using these, if you do one stroke and then you go over it again, the other stroke shows. So you can actually shade things, so you can make them darker and going lighter. And also this paper is actually drawing paper in here, so it's a heavier weight than copy paper, but it will go through to the other side of any paper that you use. So just a warning, especially if you like doing colouring books, you'll wreck the one on the other side of the page because it will all go through. And then we're coming to the back here. This is a napkin, which is again with I went round with the paintbrush and then you can see with this one you can see better because the other one matched the background, but you can see how the edge goes on it. So it's wet there, and I just went like that, and it makes that lovely edge on it. Then put Mod Podge down on the page, and it was interesting because I thought this background here is done with those sprays that are made from the icing sugar, and I thought, oh, when I wet it with Mod Podge, will it run? It actually didn't, because there was Mod Podge all around here. So that was a nice thing to find out, that they're actually waterproof, those colours. And then this is a little butterfly sticker, and another little metal butterfly sticker on the antique paper. Then this one I've sewn around. This was the first one I did, and I did it in black, and then I didn't like it. I've changed the colour to red, so it's too dark with the black, but it was a bit of an experiment. This is a little bit of the cushion, and some of that velvety sort of fabric and some lace, and then this silk frayed behind it, and a bit of the Indian paper. So in the back here, I've got a little, just stuck 2 pieces of card onto the paper clip, put a little flower on it, and it holds what online they call floating pockets. So I really like this paper, so I didn't put anything on there except the flowers. And then inside I've got another beautiful image, and the back of it is ready to journal on. Oh, I have to put a butterfly there somewhere. And then that sits on there like so. And then because these tabs are like really close to the fold, I didn't want to make them 3D, so I've made them quite flat. There's an image that I've cut out with my machine. Fussy cut a little butterfly on it, butterfly there. Cut out 2 circles to use to glue together as the little top of the card. And sewed all the way around it with red. And of course I did that before I stuck this image on. So the first thing you do is do any sewing on it that you want. There's another beautiful image, lady with a horse. Oh, that's come from somewhere. I have to go through and put it back. Then this page I just left the way it was. I need to go around here with the distress ink, and then this beautiful gypsy type image with some dragonfly, butterfly, and she was looking up at something, so I put a butterfly there for her to look up at. So I hope that was useful for you and you enjoyed it. Bye. See you later.